This is the table talk video for the fourth session, part D of our episode for Star Trek Adventures First Response, called Questions of Duty. That title did manage to stick all the way through to the end. This particular instance of table talk, this particular session, is focused more on the session than maybe previous ones have been. A lot of them have been focused on rules questions or other things like that. This one is focused more on the content of play, but also the thoughts and feelings that go into inspiring that play. Well, I had hoped toward the end to get into discussions of, what questions of duty did it raise. We didn't actually get there. We had other things to talk about, so hopefully those will come out in the individual player reflections. All right. This particular session, ran over 2 hours, which pushes the entire episode to just over 5, maybe 5.5 hours of play, which is in the ballpark of what I consider to be a normal episode length when sitting around the table. That's my default setting in my head. Somewhere from 4 to 6 hours is one session of play. So online, in this format, with restricted schedules, this is how we managed to produce one episode of Star Trek Adventures. So it took an entire month of Wednesdays to produce. And anyway, I hope you find the table talk to be interesting and insightful. But if you're not interested in what we talk about before the session and immediately after the session, then this is definitely a video you can skip. Anyway, take care.
Okay. So basically what I did was I dumped a chunk of Starship Combat rules into the rules wiki. So I have an idea, but I will have to admit that until I see them in play and, connecting the dots, then my memory of them will be quite spotty as it
That's
happens.
fine. It's like anything else.
Like
And that's actually been a part of my preparation this week, is how do I want to represent the coolness of Star Trek Adventures combat, which I heard you guys have some reservations about in the part where I was answering the doorbell in the last episode. It really is, in my experience, strongly tied both to the fun of using system, the coolness of being able to actually work together as a team, role playing, not in a you go, I go, you go, I go sense, but like in this tidal wave of interactions that that work differently than you might expect, and you wind up in these moments of holy crap, I'm in a Star Trek episode, right? And then once you've internalized the mechanism, so you're not saying, okay, I need to take this die and that die, and I need, right? Then the role playing comes out, and the rules that are being referenced are obvious in the natural TV like dialogue that's coming out of people's mouths. So I don't expect that for today.
No, me neither.
It will take
So
some time.
I trust you, Anthony, but it's I recognize that as a goal down there. We'll go.
we won't talk
We follow in your instruction.
So with only 2 players instead of 4 or 5 or 6 or 7, I mean the game really does accommodate a lot of players.
That I can see, yeah.
And still moves quickly. What we'll end up with is I'm going to focus more on the drama of it through 2 lenses. When we left, we had Korsakov in the command chair, and we have Yang at the helm. So that gives, through the window of Yang, through the lens of Yang, we can look at some of the mechanisms of Starfleet combat in terms of movement and evasive patterns and this sort of stuff, trying to escape or pursue or whatever it turns out to be. And then through Korsakov, we can look at the issuing of commands side of it. But each of you will be tied to a supporting character.
Ah, okay.
So in my mind, I was thinking that a good pairing would be Korsakov and Mondragon, right? And as the tactical officer, he'll be responsible for raising shields or lowering shields or calling for reinforcements to shields, that kind of stuff, and for firing the weapons. And then we can tie Ensign Yang maybe to Anya Smith and dealing with the chaos of the intership communication. This is if this scene actually goes to combat. I don't know what you guys will actually do. And it's certainly not the game master saying, I'm attacking you with this ship. Because as you remember, the Orions came in and they're attacking
The other ship, the Trojans.
Right, the Trojan ship.
Yeah.
So, anyway, when we get into the episode, whatever I describe, I'm basically saying, what are you going to do about it? So, we surrender is, whatever. Where's the white flag? All right.
The other
Let's
small,
go. Let's
yeah,
go
the other
home. This is boring. Yeah.
the other small thing is I actually gave a value to Anya Smith. It's in the.
That's right. She's reappeared, so she gets a
Yeah, so
value.
Well, it's not
so I've chosen to
just
give.
it's not just value. I don't know
Yeah,
if you guys have
Yeah, I
actually
saw.
watched the episode,
Yeah.
but there are 5 different things that could happen.
Mhm.
One of which is a value. One is a one-time only characteristic bump.
To both either discipline or
What are the other
attributes.
3?
Adding in more foci,
Okay.
which tends to be something that you do if some ridiculous or not ridiculous, but some situation that nobody has imagined.
Right. Fortunately, so and so is good at it.
It's like Kirk keeps
But you
sending
said
Chekhov
5.
over to do stuff. And the other one. That was 4.
Oh.
And there's another one.
Okay.
And so
So I placed the value in
value, attribute, discipline, focus,
focus. Okay.
and something else.
I am telepathically linked with Casey, and I perceive that he wants to put in a value, and I am putting my id in support of that
Well,
decision.
you can. I've put it there more as a placeholder. Like I was actually kind of struggling with the wording of the value.
Sure.
But I was actually trying. I figured that let's just call back to that scene where Anya Smith wanted to use that value, but which we decided not to, which was already on it. So she's basically thinking one step ahead. So that was the idea.
Be prepared, kind of thing. Always ready.
Well, like do something ahead before you're asked.
Do it
But
before you're right.
not-
Before they
right.
ask
But
for
then-
it. That's
yeah,
it.
but not
Before they ask for it.
actually having killing
Already
someone that actually
done.
done it. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was- Because there was a scene that played out. So I
I
figured
did
that
it
was
20 minutes ago.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
Right.
Yeah. With the Ozymandias value.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
I don't know.
so
I'm
I
just
like to-
throwing it out there.
Yeah.
And
I like to
you guys have
express
look at it.
values as something the character might actually say in conversation, right? They're sitting in a bar on some space station somewhere, right? Some star base, and someone's complaining about their life, and that encapsulated piece of life wisdom comes out in its in its form, like
Yeah.
Korsakov saying, well, you have to toughen up.
Mhm.
We've heard him say it a lot, and he's spent a lot of time through the 2 episodes making sure people are ready, and Anya has demonstrated readiness.
Mhm.
And Korsakov and Anya get along really well, so I like this as a
Yeah.
do
So
it before they
I'll-
ask for it, kind of thing. Sure.
I'll need the group's input to find the
The
perfect wording to encapsulate that.
But right now we understand what the value is, and should it
Is,
be
in essence.
relevant.
Mhm.
Okay. And that also, Mbuto is also up for the same treatment.
Oh, for a
Yes,
value.
that's true.
Well,
Or,
you know,
or
given
any,
how
an
and
or
improvement.
any other increase. Yeah.
given how he was played last time, which we may or may not choose to work with, I see two possible values based on the way that he has been played, because I think he's been played by all three players. So, two possible values. One is, I guess you would just say, almost like a rebellious thing. We make our own decisions out here. We do it our way. Orders are orders, missions are missions, but we make our own decisions. So that's one value. If we were to take sort of the most, well, I don't know, I'm not going to call it negative. I'm going to call it the most extreme, or the most
Right, emphasizing his
yeah,
not individuality,
correct,
independence. Right,
correct,
self-reliance.
yes, yeah,
Self-reliance. That's the.
self-reliance. Yeah, I think you're right. And then, which is not that bad, especially when phrased that way. Um, and then there's also the I guess you would have to say is he's deeply professional when it comes to the actual skills. Deeply, maybe even more so than anyone else in the series so far. Just deeply professional, completely. Uh, uh, he
Business-like.
doesn't just use the instruments. He doesn't just use the instrumentation. It's like engineer Scott with the Enterprise. He doesn't just like move the toggles around, and twiddle dials. He knows what makes them go from underneath, and he can make the engine, squeal in ways that the manual doesn't know about.
Right.
So I get the idea that Mbuto's kind of the same with his sensors. But so something about that. Those are the two values that come to mind for the character. So, Casey, if you want to pick something or come up with a third or find a phrase for one of them, is fine for me.
I like the first one that you offered as a value, because
Yeah.
that sort of does play into the fact what, he's most likely the kind of person who actually will go against a directive.
Right.
It's actionable in both directions. Yeah.
Yeah. It's good and bad,
Yeah.
of course, which is
Yeah,
good value.
and
Yeah.
that's probably one incident or many incidents that caused him his loss of rank.
Right.
Like he doesn't really care about the rank as much as making his own decisions.
Right.
And those has consequences to it, and therefore that's where he is right now.
Right.
The
And digging a little deeper into that,
Mhm.
where is he? Where does he want to stay?
Right.
Right.
What is does he have a plan or a goal right now, or is he fine? Okay, I landed here. That's how it happens.
Yeah.
We don't know. Yeah.
Mhm.
So yeah, let's go with that. Let's go with that first value, and however it's phrased is okay by me. Or we can just let the legalistic phrasing take care of itself in the chat later if we all feel we get it. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not sure if that's something that we'll bring up in this session, so we can work it out later.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Well, yes. We saw a little bit of it in the role playing last time, and that's or a couple of sessions ago, and so that's solid.
Right. What are we going to do about this artifact? You take care of it. It's in the right hands.
So yes, we could discuss that later off screen, I think. Okay, so let's go for a little recap, if that's okay, because there were some phrases or comments at the end that I don't know were actually play. So I need to be oriented when the commercial comes up.
Okay.
Right. Right then.
So that ends episode 1, Questions of Duty, and I hope at least there were some questions of duty.
Oh, lots and lots of learning. Lots and lots of learning moments there too, system-wise, which is great.
All right. So it's a lethal system. It does have some escape hatches.
I noticed. I was actually didn't expect to survive after taking those. So yeah.
Had it
So, yeah.
had there been more of them,
Right. Right.
you know, Korskov was in a very disadvantaged position once I opted to make him prone. It's
Right.
much easier for him to be shot, and then there's no buffer zone after that.
Right. No, it would have been up in the air as to whether the mechanics would have favored blanketing the dudes with stun before before we took more disruptor fire, me specifically. So that would have been up in the air, I think.
And
somehow.
there's specific ways to deal with injury if you have characters who are free to act to help
Right.
injured characters and so on and so forth. But
Right.
anyway, yeah. So we may end up with some kind of lasting effect from this encounter.
That's fine. We will see.
And yeah. All right. I do have to go. I'm sorry I don't
Yeah.
have. We started
We'll
late
chat more later
and
on.
we
Yeah.
played long.
Yeah.
But I will be. I've checked over the reflections I've recorded so far, and I think they are like too noisy. Most of them were done in the car, so I'm going to be pulling highlight reels from my
Right.
ongoing reflections for those, and I'll have a episode preparation
Episode
video.
1. Mhm.
Right. And if you feel like you have been doing enough heavy lifting on that, I can do the post at Adepts Play about episode 1 just to have the basic text up, and we can add the videos. I mean, it just links into the playlists anyway. So
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
So then we can do that. All right. Just to take it a little off you for your long list of tasks relative
thanks.
to our game.
And it's been pretty bleak around here this week. So
yeah.
okay.
All right. Take care, folks. See you later.
Take care.
Right. Okay. Bye.